Hey, political scientists and computer experts, it's your boy here, Thor Hansen, and welcome back to another political science video. Today, we're doing a user-requested video about the 9-axis test. This is a 216-question test that attempts to place you with your political alignment based on 9 different axes together, and it grades you on all sorts of different questions: religion, traditionalism, authoritarian versus freedom, democracy, unitary versus federal state status, immigration, all sorts of stuff. And today we're going to be taking the full 216 question test, and let's get started. Oh, this is me coming in after doing the full video. I just want to let you guys know I'm doing this live, so you're going to see a little bit more of me hemming and hawing on this video than I usually do, and I might stumble over my words a little bit, so just wanted to let you guys know that and warn you guys before we get started. I support gay marriage. Now, I just want to say something. This is going to come off as a little bit controversial. Let's put it that way. I'm going to answer these questions as I think them, in the way that I think them, and I'm not going to hold back. So, do I support gay marriage? I am neutral on gay marriage. A country must take all measures to enforce its laws. Absolutely. Religion does not belong in government. Absolutely. The government should monitor all citizens to combat terrorism. I somewhat agree with that statement. The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. Absolutely. Having independent nations with the risk of global conflict creates a large threat to humanity as a whole. I think it does, yeah. I'd say so. When people have already suffered for technology to be developed, we should use that technology. Absolutely. Anybody who wants to enter the country should be able to. No. The wealthy have far more than they need. Yes. If we accept migrants at all, it is important that they assimilate into our culture. Yes. Most drugs should be legalized. Yes. The more people asked, the better the chance there is of reaching the best decision. I've already said how I feel about democracy before in one of my previous videos, where I don't think that anyone except for those with a college degree should be able to vote. So, honestly, I disagree with this statement. I am proud to be in my country. No. A united government would be beneficial to mankind. Yes. Military spending is a waste of money. Absolutely. A military option should always be considered. I disagree with that. Economies without any capitalism will collapse. No. A national government protects minorities better than some local governments do. I somewhat agree with that. Most bad things happening in the world are caused by us turning away from religion. Absolutely not. There should not be international law. I disagree with that. I believe there is something after death. No, I'm a staunch atheist. It is important that the government follow the majority opinion even if it is wrong. No, it is not the case. Genetic modification is a force for good even on humans. Yes. There should be no police force. No, police keep the peace. War usually leads to worse outcomes. Yes, people should have equal opportunity to succeed. I believe in equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity. But yes, nations fighting amongst each other gets in the way of progress. If the government should not fund any religious organizations in any way. Victimless crimes such as drug use should not be crimes at all. Victimless crimes such as drug use, piracy, and prostitution should not be crimes at all. Violating copyright law is a victimless crime. It doesn't hurt anyone, and it doesn't do anything. Drug use is a victimless crime. It doesn't hurt anyone, and as long as you are safe with it, it doesn't hurt anyone. Prostitution is a victimless crime because you get sex, the prostitute gets paid, and they go on their way. You both benefit from the transaction. I think it's stupid that prostitution is illegal. So strongly agree. A direct democracy is the best form of government. I think it is a good form of government, but I think we should try to transition towards a dictatorship of the proletariat instead of a direct democracy. So I do see it as a temporary solution. So I'm going to say strongly agree. War is never justified. That's a hard one. I'm going to put neutral on that one. People should vote on issues by themselves. People should vote issue by issue themselves. Absolutely. Immigrants should be expected to learn the language of the country. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Only extremely talented immigrants, if that, should be permitted to enter the country. I somewhat agree with that. Religion should be removed from everything in our government. Absolutely. We need state-sponsored atheism. A nation's culture is important to protect. I somewhat agree with that. Nobody in other countries has our best interest in mind. I disagree with that. People should not have protections that could hinder discovering their criminal activity. Yes. Tradition just hinders the progress of technology. Yes. Immigrants can never really adapt to our way of life. I disagree. Elections are a waste of resources. I somewhat agree with that. The government should not break up monopolies. I strongly disagree with that. My nation is closer to my views than most nations in the world. Absolutely not. Police should be regulated more. Yes. War is needed to make an economy thrive. No. Theocracy is a good system of government. Theocracy is where religious leaders rule in the name of God, and there is no separation of church and state. As a staunch atheist, I am extremely opposed to this policy. So, theocracy is a good system of government? No. Excessive government intervention is a threat to the economy? No. We need more regulation. Every religion must be looked upon equally by the government. Yes. Each person should have one vote equal to one another. I've already said in the past how I feel about democracy, and that I don't think that stupid people should be able to vote, and that I think that you should have to have at least a bachelor's degree to be able to vote. So, no, I put strongly disagree. There must be a separation between church and state. Absolutely. Subdivisions should not be exempt from national laws. I strongly agree with that. We should put our efforts into getting a person on Mars in the near future. Yes, border protection is important. It is. People should be given freedom whenever it causes little security risk. Yes. Marijuana should be legalized. Absolutely. A hierarchical state is best. No. The elders in society know the best path for it. A geniocracy state. No. That's what the Mormon Church does, and it does not work. The stronger the leadership, the better. I agree with that. Automation overall is extremely good for society. It is good for society. Peace is preferable to war whenever possible. Yes, technology is negatively affecting modern society. Actually, I agree with that. Facebook poisons people's mental health, and so does Instagram and other social media platforms, and makes it easier to bully people. So yes, the government has no business looking into most people's personal lives. I strongly disagree with that. Faith is complete nonsense. I agree with that strongly. The United Nations needs more power. Yes, state laws should have precedent over national laws. No. Elections are an effective way of showing government approval. I somewhat agree with that. We should be more accepting of other cultures. I agree with that. Local governments should have more power than they currently do. Somewhat agree. In the modern era, militaries aren't really necessary. I agree with that. Traditions are important. No, they're not. People should have to work for anything they get. No. The government should not have access to the emails of suspected terrorists. No, the government should have access to the emails of suspected terrorists. Absolutely. Diplomatic options should always be tried before war is even considered. Yes, children should be educated in religious values. No, children should be raised as atheists. And they should not be raised in religious values in schools either. Even when protesting an authoritarian government, violence is not acceptable. Absolutely. Those who disagree with the government should be removed from the country. I strongly disagree with that. Public utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned. Absolutely. Human-caused climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to a way of life. Absolutely. People should have the right to leave their wealth to their descendants. No. In general, immigrants are bad for the country. I kind of agree with that. Capitalism is better than any existing alternative. No, socialism is better. Everybody should speak at least 2 languages. No. Democracy makes it too easy for a majority to further itself at the expense of minorities. Democracy can be corrupt, yes. A national government must be strong to adequately protect all its citizens. Yes, countries that violate human rights should be toppled. I somewhat agree with that. The poor choose to be poor. No, the rich make them poor. It is very important to maintain law and order. Yes, a better world will come from automation, science, and technology. Absolutely. Catering to popular opinion is detrimental to a nation. That's why we got Donald Trump elected, because we allow morons to vote. Nations should cooperate whenever it benefits them both. Yes, it is important that we maintain the traditions of our past. A nation must obey its leadership without question. Yes, there is no need for a national government. I strongly disagree with that. There are many issues that it does not make sense to address at a local level. Yeah, I can agree with that. It is important that we further my group's goals above all others. Yes. From each according to his ability to each according to his need. Is a fundamentally good idea. Yes. If AI could rule more effectively than humans, then AI should rule. Yes. In order for humanity to survive, we must get past having separate nations. My religious values should be spread as much as possible. I agree with that. The national government needs more power. Yes, we have no right to militarily intervene in other nations. The internet should be banned. Lasting peace leads to prosperity. Foreigners should never enter the country. I disagree with that. Only those who serve in the military should be allowed to have influence on who is in power. I strongly disagree with that. That influence should be put in the hands of the intelligent, specifically people that have college degrees. They should be making all the decisions, which we should limit the voting population down to 37.7% of all of the citizens, which are those that possess at least a bachelor's degree. Because I don't think we should allow people that are functionally illiterate to be able to vote. Abortion should be legal in all cases. Absolutely. Local governments address issues that the national government would never touch without them. I somewhat agree with that. It's more important to retain peaceful relations than further our strength. Yes. Halfway done. Traditions are of no value on their own. Absolutely. Society was better many years ago than it is now. Yes. Laws should not be based on religion. I strongly agree with that. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. Yes. Nations should not maintain a military. Diplomacy only hurts nations. I strongly disagree with that. Laws that vary from area to area and culture to culture. Laws should vary area to area and culture to culture within a country. Yeah, I somewhat agree with that. We are first and foremost citizens of Earth. Yes, basic things needed to live, such as healthcare and human rights. Yes, immigrants are a net positive. I'm neutral on that. Nobody but me can adequately represent my views. I disagree with that. Bernie Sanders pretty adequately represents my views. Absolute freedom makes society dangerous. That's called an anarchy, and it does make society dangerous. There's no higher power. I strongly agree with that. People's freedom should have no limits. No, that's anarchy. That never works. Public opinion swings too much with emotional events to be used for policy making. Absolutely. Maintaining family values is essential. Family values are religious values, and they're bullshit. The United Nations should be abolished. I agree with that. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I agree with that. People must be allowed to follow religion. No, religion should be banned. Police need more power and protection. Only those who served in the military should be able to gain power in government. No. Our culture would be better with more other cultures mixed in more. I somewhat agree with that. The freer the market, the freer the people. No. The freer the market, the more the rich make money. National cultures are important to protect. I somewhat agree with that. Religion must decline for society to progress. Yes. Environmental regulations are essential. Absolutely. People should hold more loyalty to their local state than their country. I strongly disagree with that. My nation should stay out of international affairs. Absolutely. Genetic modification should be used rarely, if ever. No. Testing products in animals is ethical. It is. Religion is beneficial for society. I strongly disagree with that. Religion usually provides the truth. It doesn't. Religious clothing should be banned from public. Absolutely. Equality of outcome is important. Traditional medicines are often more effective than modern medicines. No. Any deals other countries must want are bad for us. No. People should have the power to choose their leaders. I somewhat agree with that. Democracy is the worst form of government except all the others we tried. Yes. No cultures are superior to others. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. I disagree with that. Local governments can understand their citizens better than the national government could. That is true. State and local laws should have precedence over national laws. I'm neutral on that one. Communism, if implemented correctly, would be a good form of economics. Absolutely. Those who do not work should die. No. A group of states without a strong national government is merely an alliance, not a nation. Yes. There should be compulsory military service. No. All humans share a common identity. Yes. Illegal immigrants do not provide a benefit to the hosting country. Yes. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. Yes, a government must maintain a strong military to defend itself. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. Absolutely. Strong states weaken a nation. Technology is not always beneficial. Subdivisions of nations should have their own militaries. No. Countries that do not serve our interests should be toppled. No. We should be taking in more refugees. No. Government-owned industry is usually a bad idea. Nationalize that shit. It's a great idea. We should respect those who have served in our military. Yeah, countries fall apart with constant war. Laws should be completely consistent with all regions of a nation. Yes, all societies are a blend of cultures. Yeah, I can agree with that. Benefits of open borders would outweigh the costs. No. It is a good idea to test a policy in one state rather than implementing it nationwide right away. I can agree with that. Local governments give each region good representation of their views. I can agree with that. Only our national languages should be spoken in our country. Absolutely. I believe in a higher power. No, popular opinion is not always right. Absolutely. It is better to maintain a balanced budget than ensure the welfare for all our citizens. It is better to maintain welfare for all citizens than ensure a balanced budget. Both should be tried to make the cut. Both of these things should be pursued at all costs, but when it push comes to shove, I think that maintaining a welfare state for the poorest among us should be the main concern over maintaining a balanced budget. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous. No. Sex outside marriage is immoral. No. Religion should be banned. Absolutely. Whistleblowers should be strongly protected. Absolutely. A nation usually needs a military in order to survive. The government should not regulate the economy at all. No. People born into wealthy families have unfair success even when they aren't skilled or don't work hard. Absolutely. People should think of themselves as citizens of their nation rather than of their state. Yes, we must go back to the basic way of life without modern conveniences. That's asking me if I want to be Amish. No. Society could not function without leaders and followers. Absolutely. Technological progress is usually good. Yes, it is important to maintain our national sovereignty. Yes, states cannot function without a strong national government. Yes, democracy is more than a decision-making process. Yes, international trade is generally beneficial. Yes, we should not allow any refugees. I slightly agree with that. The United Nations should have a military to enforce its resolutions. No. No authority should be left unquestioned. No. Alliances are important for protecting a nation. International aid is a waste of money. Absolutely. Religious organizations. Absolutely. International aid is a waste of money. If a nation cannot survive on its own, we shouldn't be trying to distort what nature has in store for that nation. If nature wants that government to collapse, then let it collapse. We shouldn't be trying to do anything that would distort what nature has intended. All empires must fall eventually, and that's just the way things are. And if a state can't maintain its stability, either through war or through debt or whatever it may be, then the state deserves to collapse. Religious organizations often provide better assistance to the poor than government does. No. I support regional unions such as the European Union. Yes. Some freedom must be given up in order to keep people safe. Yes. The general populace makes poor decisions. Considering the general populace is uneducated, yes, they do make poor decisions. I support single-payer universal health care. It's a human right, absolutely. On top of this, I think we should add I support universal higher education. A country cannot function without a national government. Yes, government should be accountable to the international community. The government should support and only recognize one religion, and that should be state-sponsored atheism. I enjoy some foreign cultures. Yeah, leaders must be strong or a nation will suffer. Yes, the national government can't understand what people need. Representatives really represent the nation well. That is true because of corporate lobbying. It is necessary for the government to intervene in the economy to protect consumers. Yes, governments should be as concerned about foreign citizens as they are about their own within their borders. Illegal immigrants should be deported in most or all cases. Yes, there's no need for local state governments. I disagree with that. A government must be by the people for the people. Yes. A constant state of war benefits a country. No. If you have nothing to hide, then you shouldn't care about the government having access to your communications. I disagree with that. The very existence of the state is a threat to our liberty. No. Alliances can pose a threat to a nation's sovereignty. No. So here's where I stand. On the first axis, I am unitary. I believe we need a strong federal government that imposes the will of the state on the people. I am a moderate authoritarian. I think that the state needs more authority, but I do think that some things should be voted on. Ultimately, we should have a dictatorship of the proletariat, but I do think that we need to limit voting rights to only those who have at least a bachelor's degree, and those voting rights should be in many issues. Here's how I think things should work. I think every 6 months, there should be a semi-annual election held every June and December where issues that the federal government would have looked at, in our case, are directly on the ballot for people to vote on. And it would be about 100 separate issues that people would vote on. And it would make it so only the informed have a say in our government. And instead of allowing corporate lobbying to decide our politics, I think we should allow the people themselves to decide our politics. But still, the state should need more authority, though. I am a globalist. I think that we need to spread our influence around the world, and we need to cooperate with other nations. I am an extreme pacifist, and I think that military should only be considered as the very last resort option. I think pacifism all the way is the best way that we should go. I am a moderate on security. I do think that people should have some freedoms, but they should be limited. And I do think that the state needs more security, and the state needs more power in the police. I am a fanatic equalist. I think that I am a socialist. I am a fanatic equalist, and I think that markets need to be stripped completely of their power, and we need to have all of the state with equality. I am extremely secular. I'm 88% on this and 12% on religious. I'm a fanatic progressive. I think we need to use science to outweigh the traditions of our past, and that science, technology, and progress is the way to go for society. And I think by sacrificing religious ideals and traditions, that society can be made much better. And I am a moderate assimilationist. I think that if people are going to immigrate to our country, they need to learn the language and they need to assimilate into our culture. And I also think that they should have 3 years to learn our language and assimilate into our culture. Otherwise, they should be deported. The only thing I agree with in terms of what Trump wants to do is his mass deportations. Because people, if they're going to immigrate to our country, they need to do it legally. I do think that we need to make it easier for people to immigrate, but they need to do it legally. Giving these people citizenship would be rewarding them for breaking the law. And I see that as morally wrong. Yes, as you can see, I am a Marxist socialist. Uh, and this is my outcome right here. So, yeah, if you guys want to take this test, I will put the link in the description for you. And yeah, go take the test. Tell me your results and tell me what you got. This test is the most accurate that I've seen so far with these political compass tests. This isn't a political compass test, but it's a political alignment test, and this is the most accurate one I've seen so far, and I really think that everybody should take this test to see where they politically align. So, thank you for watching. This has been an episode of Thor Hansen Does Political Science, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.